Hello, cosplay world. We are back with a new series. This is a 6-part series, and you can find the entirety of the 6-part series over at finalcosplaycore.com. I hope you check it out, support our organization, help us produce videos, help make cosplay awesome and content and all that stuff. You know, we're out business. But half of it will be available. We're going to put the sword, the helmet, and the leg sections out for everyone, whereas the entirety of the listing, including the chest, the sewing undersuit, and then the arms and gloves, are going to be on finalcosplaycore.com. And this is a very long process. Even though it's 6 videos, trust me, it's way more complicated than the 6 videos could elaborate on. I'm going to try and cover specific details that are important to this piece, but I'm not going to go over every single piece that was made. That would be like a 20-part series, seriously, as I go over like platings and different elements of the waist and the belts and things like that. Oh, so this sword was kind of actually made towards the end, but people like swords, so I'm gonna be like, hey, check out this cool sword that's made entirely of MDF, medium density fireboard. And you can see I'm sitting here wrestling with this wood, or this wood-like product. With the dovetail saw. Sure, I'm going to get it done with the dovetail saw, but let me tell you that a bandsaw would have been wonderful in this case, though I'm not quite sure how I would modify my setup so that a bandsaw would video record very well. But if you're working at your house, you can totally do this with whatever handle. It just takes a little bit more effort and things like that. It's going to be a very heavy, solid sword. I believe even the tongue that extends into the grip is around 8 inches long, so this baby can be swung around quite a lot. It is quite heavy though, so if you're looking for lighter materials, I definitely don't recommend MDF, especially at ½ inch thick. This thing is, I think, around 5 pounds, 6 pounds maybe, with all the details added on. But I like working with MDF because it's nice and sturdy, and it's a particle material which allows you to sculpt it, which is going to be really important in this. We go in with the rasp and file in the details and make it look interesting, give it kind of a blade edge. Now you can see we got a piece of PVC pipe that's wrapped around the handle. That's going to be our big thick handle. This thing is actually kind of obnoxious to hold, but the design is that it's this big stupid sword. We have some strips of poster board, those are those white strips, and we just cut out thin strips and glued them on the surface, and I'm just kind of showing off here, sanding and rounding and cutting these details. Those little tabs that you see at the hilt, those were cut out with the dovetail saw, but then I came in with a file and then sanded those in, or like filed those in a little square, and then that was actually quite a lot of work to get that done. We're going to be adding various layers of PVC pipe, and I think you guys have seen me work with layering of PVC pipe. You can heat up pipe, and it's kind of, it'll heat up and it's stretchy, and you can fit various sizes over each other. Now, not all of these sizes are 100% compatible. Like the 1 1/4 inch over the 1 1/2, we got a little bit of space there, or the 1 inch over the 1 1/4 inch. There's a little bit of space there in between, and so we need to fill that with a little bit of sturdy material. The material we're going to be using in this case is called friendly plastic, and that stuff gets hard and rigid once it's actually in place. It is something that I'll use for temporary support, or for like little fiddly bits like antennas or details that are very likely to break off. Friendly plastic makes exceptionally good durable mounting material. It's not super, people use it for sculpting, but I prefer other things for sculpting because it's a smooth material and doesn't sand and texture as nicely as some other kind of sculpting materials. But as you can see, we're just layering these over each other to create our big hefty hilt, and it's gonna get heftier as we go on, because we're gonna add some details in Warbler. Now theoretically, you can make these details out of anything from EVA foam to poster board to cardboard, whatever the case may be, because they're not structurally relevant. They're just details. But I think I said making this towards the end, and I went, man, I got some old strips of Warbler left over. I'll just stick them on, it'll be fine. And those will be what we add our pieces to. Now, the what is it? The spikes. Oh yeah, I capped off the end. You see there's a piece of wood at the very end of the sword there. I simply heated up the piece of pipe and stuck the cap in. It's gotta be around 3 inches long of that wood dowel, but wood dowels make excellent end caps when you're using PVC pipe. Additionally, there is a screw underneath one of those pieces of one of the rings of pipe, and then we also filled that in with, I'm pretty sure, more friendly plastic. Make sure that sword doesn't ever slide out. And yeah, I might have got ahead of myself there with talking about the Warbler detailing, but yeah, I'm going in there and putting the Warbler detailing in. Oh, actually, you can see a little burn mark right there at the base of the hilt. That is where the screw is to mount the wood dowel. Typically, you don't want to burn PVC because it lets off bad fumes, but I'm going to hope that anyone watching these videos are observing basic safety procedures when you're working with a shop. You know, gloves, goggles, ventilation, things like that. I don't necessarily want to say that in every single video because it's hopefully common knowledge. I know it's not, especially with me, who I'll like work with sharp things that cut myself constantly, or Bondo with my fingers. But yeah, these smaller details, because Warbler sticks to things, make it exceptionally easy, and I don't need to work very long. I can keep going and add more detail rather than waiting for, say, some glue to dry or something like that. Yeah, it just makes the work quick. Now, Warbler doesn't stick especially well to smooth surfaces, but that's not a huge deal because they're not going to be structurally relevant. Like I said, there are some spikes that are going to be at the top of the hilt, which means that the sword is going to have to rest on its blade. Those are entirely made of Warbler. Those are actually designed to break off easily, or to be the part that breaks off, because this big heavy sword, if it falls or slides or hits the ground in some way, something's going to break. And I'd rather have it be the Warbler, because guess what? I can hit the Warbler with a heat gun or a hairdryer or even a lighter if I really need to, and warm up the Warbler and stick that right back on it, and it fixes the problem out super easy. So things that break really easily, like claws or feet or shoes, I usually use Warbler as a kind of buffer or protection for those pieces. So the painting here is exceptionally easy. What I'm going to be doing is doing a base coat of black, and then I'm going to be coating the whole piece. This is because acrylics bind very well to the facing of MDF wood. If you go straight for the spray paint or an aerosol or some kind of air-based paint or a thinner paint in general, airbrush, the texture of the MDF is going to come through and it's not going to be the best. So you want to use a thicker paint definitely on the base of the wood. However, acrylics do not stick especially well to the PVC. So what I'm going to be doing is hitting that with some spray paint later. I think I do paint up the black here, but it's when you do work with PVC sheeting or PVC pipe, you want to sand down the surface. It'll help take the paint much better. There is some red spray paint and black spray paint for this work, and that's basically it. I'm going to do that off camera because I don't really still have a good setup for spray painting. At least not when I did this. I found some awesome boxes from Aldi that can put small pieces of armor, nothing like this big, that's for sure. And then I'll spray paint on camera for a second and then quickly move it away. One thing I'm always worried about is getting actually the spray paint particles on the lens of the camera and that going badly. But after that, I'm going to clear coat it and protect it. I will expect the tip of the sword to take damage. You have to do regular maintenance on that. And the Warbler spikes on the end of the hilt, those are broken off like 4 or 5 times over the course of 2-3 years. I think it's been 2 years. 3 years? It's been a number of years since I made this, actually. It's just now that I'm just getting into editing and putting these together because there's just a huge backlog, as you probably have figured out. Alright, next we're going to go into chest piece. The chest piece has a lot of parts, but my favorite part is that I have these acrylic sections with glow. We'll talk about that in the next video. Hope you guys check it out. Good times to all. Rah! Over at finalcosplaycore.com, there are hundreds of tutorials, pictures, walkthroughs, all that awesome cosplay goodness. Hope you check it out. Good times to all. Rah!